What's going on YouTube? So you clicked on this video so you can learn how to drive a car, an automatic car, and I'm going to quickly show you how to drive a car, and by the end of this video you should be good to go on the road and you should be confident enough to operate a vehicle. Now for the purpose of this video, my car is already on because it is so scorching hot and I need that AC blasting. Basically, your first step is going to be start the vehicle. You can either do that by remote start, push start, or by turning the key. Once you start the car, you're going to want to sit down in the car, obviously. Close the door. Now you're in the cockpit of the vehicle, and basically you want to do a couple things first. Number one, put on your seatbelt. Make this a habit. Don't ever forget your seatbelt, and don't ever do anything else without putting it on first. I know it may be a little bit restrictive, but trust me, you're gonna want to get into that habit so you never are driving without a seatbelt. But usually cars will notify you or remind you, hey, you need your seatbelt on. Step two, check your mirrors. You want to make sure that your rear view mirror can see the whole back windshield, and then you want to adjust your side mirrors to where the edge is at your door handle. So you want to be able to see a little bit of your door handle. This way you get the best field of view possible in that little mirror. And reminder, objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. So don't think that what you see in your mirror is the accurate exact distance. They're closer than you think. So make sure you adjust that. Make sure you adjust your seating to where you can reach the pedals comfortably, and you have a good back posture to where your back's not hunched over or it's not bent backwards. It's very comfortable, and your arms are not bent or extended too far out. You can just relax your arms on the steering wheel. Okay, once you have all your mirrors, your seating position, the car is running, all that, then what you want to do is try to set everything up in your car. Don't drive and then set up your radio, set up your AC. Don't do that. Just make sure you are good to go in your car. Now the steering wheel is a clock: 12, 6, 1, 10, 11, and so on. So if you ever heard the term 10 and 2, 2, 10, this is the ideal position to grasp your steering wheel to where you have full control of the vehicle and you don't have room for error. Now again, it depends on your car, whether you're driving a manual and automatic, but for this video it's going to be an automatic. So you have your park, reverse, neutral, drive, and I don't know what the L is for in this car, but maybe you'll have like a sport, or you'll have some feature that I don't know what that is, but you're predominantly going to be worried about park, reverse, neutral, drive. And this is your emergency brake. Usually you use this when you're on a mountain or a hill. Florida, we don't have mountains, so I don't really ever use that, but usually in manual cars and when you're parking, you have the parking brake, emergency parking brake. Maybe yours is a pull back, you pull it back. Now that you're good to drive, all you have to do is put the sucker in drive and move. So ride the brake. When you're in first gear or you're at a speed of 10 miles an hour or below, just ride the brake. So if you notice, I don't know if you guys can see my gas pedal. I'm pretty techie, but I'm not that techie where I can get a view of the gas pedal while I'm driving. I mean, like, I think I need 2 cameras for that. But press the brake, hit the gear selector, move in the drive. Now your car's in drive. And watch this. I am not touching the gas. I'm just letting go of the brake and the car goes. The car goes by itself. So by doing this, you can get a comfortable idea of how your car operates. I can probably ride this whole circle just off the brake alone. I haven't touched the gas. Literally, I am riding the brake and using the momentum of the car to drive. I'm going 4 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour. I have not touched the gas and the car is moving by itself. Get used to riding the brake without any need for gas, because this is the safest and best way for you to learn how to control the weight of the vehicle and get a perspective of the angles, and then brake in, reverse. So as I said, you don't need to press the gas at all. As I just demonstrated, you just need to ride the brake and you'll be fine. Just ride the brake and get a feel of the car. I mean, don't drive one-handed. I would recommend, 10 and 2, or if there's like ridges in your steering wheel, you can hold the thumb like that. You have your blinker, so up, down. You can half click for 3 if you're merging on the highway, and then you are pretty much good to go. Just don't go above the speed limit and drive carefully and pay attention, and you should be good. Now the second half of learning how to drive is all in your mental. I always keep a rule of keeping at least a car length or 2 from the car in front of me. I don't like to ride the bumper because at any moment a car can stop and it can catch you off guard, and boom, collision happens. So always keep a car length or 2 away from the vehicle in front of you. And a good rule is to try not to switch lanes unless absolutely necessary. Don't switch lanes unless it is absolutely necessary and it's a dotted line. Never switch lanes on solid lines. And I'm sure if you're watching this video, you have your license, so you passed the book, whether you cheated or not, but you can find all the rules in your driver's handbook. And if you haven't got your license and you are getting ready to take your driver's test, you basically are just going to have to drive up like 20 miles an hour and then be able to stop at a complete stop within a certain distance. And all you have to do for that is ride the brake. Be good at riding the brake. Don't slam the brake, because then your driver instructor will hit her head or his head on the dashboard, and you don't want that, and you don't want to have whiplash. Slowly pressing the brake. It's a very sensitive tool in the car. Slowly tap the brake. That's why I recommend that when you first start driving, you slowly ride the brake, so it gives you a good perspective on how sensitive your brake is. By being able to gauge how sensitive your brake is, you'll be able to calculate how much pressure you need to apply on the brake in order to stop at a safe distance. So basically, if let's say your brakes are more worn out, let's say you're driving a used car or a new car, it doesn't matter, just by riding the brake you can learn how much pressure you need to apply to the brake so that you're not jerking the car and you're not causing yourself whiplash, because they'll take off points and you're more than likely not gonna pass your test, and you'll look stupid because on the outside your car will be like right, and then you know, you just need to ride the brake. It all comes with practice and confidence. So like I said, the second part is really your mental, just being able to confidently know that I got this, I know how to drive, I can drive, and being aware of your surroundings, not being distracted. Don't be on your phone. Put this away. Put your music too high, and so you can hear other cars honking if they need your attention, and basically you should be good. I mean, if you're clicking on this video, rather it was recommended to you, or you just need a refresher and you looked it up, how to drive a car, this is the video for you. And it's more muscle memory. It's like riding a bike. It's a cliche example, but if you ride a bike, you know how to balance and you know how fast to pedal and whatever and whatnot. So definitely go into an empty parking lot like I am and practice. Practice parking, practice shifting, practice riding the brake, practice applying the gas. I mean, you're probably going to be limited in a parking lot, but if you're comfortable enough after your parking lot practice that you can go on the highway or the main road, hit the gas, get some gas in it, and see what it's like to coast on the road safely and slowly, and you will get confident enough to drive like all the thousands of people who drive in the world. Well, actually, in the world, millions, but for the sake of the country, I would say hundreds of millions. Yeah, millions of people drive. I guess you could say millions of people drive. So if a 16-year-old can do it, 17-year-old can do it, if an 80-year-old can do it, then more than certain you can do it. And you just have to be confident in your abilities to drive, and just know that take it slow and don't bite more than you can chew, because yes, you can panic and then you can, you know, whatever, and cause a collision, and we don't want that. Just ride the brake. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'll show you guys how I drive for a little bit, and I'll give you guys a little demonstration. Also, if you're a returning subscriber, I turned off super view mode and I put wide mode. So if this is a better POV of the driving, let me know in the comments and I'll just keep this for all my POVs. So if you're new to my channel, I like to do a lot of POV drives of different cars, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see more of that, and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss my future uploads, and make sure you drop a like in this video if it was informative or helpful in any way. So another thing that I would recommend you guys study are your traffic signs, speed bumps, merge lanes, intersections, yield signs, pedestrians. Study your signs, because they all have different colors and the colors have meaning to it. Construction, yield, you know, stop signs, different colors. So I would recommend that you actually take that driver handbook and study, so you know what you're looking at and you're aware of what you're looking at. Because once you get into that secondhand nature of driving and it becomes muscle memory, what's very important is that a lot of people are not aware of the traffic signs and the traffic rules. For an example, in a four-way intersection, the first person who gets to the stop sign gets to go, right? So on and so forth. A lot of these things can trip someone up, especially if they're new or a beginner to driving and they don't know how to drive. So then you end up panicking and then a collision can happen, or you know, you just see, pay attention, because if this is a speed bump and you're going above the speed limit, you'll end up breaking your axles and things like that. Well, if it's violent enough. And also make sure, especially if you are taking your driving test, make sure you always come to a complete stop before that white line on a stop sign. They will take off points, and it's very important because you will get a ticket if an officer feels like being a prick one day and he wants to citate you. He will get on you for not coming to a complete stop before a stop sign. And always make sure that you use your turn signals. They're very vital because you don't know who is coming where, and being able to use your turn signal allows you to notify everyone around you that, hey, you're going in a direction, so don't make any sudden changes. Because when you drive, you need to assume that everyone else is a shitty driver, and that will help you be safe. You need to assume that even though you can do everything right, someone else may do something wrong and they can mess up, and it can cost you when you did nothing wrong. So always make sure that you use your turn signals. Always make sure that you have your hands placed at 10 and 2. You guys may or may not already know that, but 10 and 2, and keep your head back in a nice posture so that your back is straight and you're not hunched over so it doesn't hurt and you get fatigued. Because when you drive a lot, let's say you drive 30 minutes to and back from work, or you drive every day, you can get fatigued, and when you get fatigued, it'll interfere with your attention to driving, and you don't want that. So literally, I'm just chilling. I'm literally chilling. There's nothing more, nothing less than what I explained. It's really all in your mental on whether you know how to drive or not. So how good you drive is based on how comfortable you are. And don't think, oh, even if you know how to drive, let's say you're watching this video for entertainment purposes and you already know how to drive, don't assume that you are a professional, because there is no such thing as a professional driver. There are so many circumstances and environmental factors that we cannot control that can really affect how somebody drives, and it's out of your hands. So it's like not really it's not really in your control, so therefore your skill at driving does not apply to those things. So nobody is really a professional driver, because things can happen, and so you always have to be prepared for whatever it is that gets thrown at you on these crazy roads. Like, that was a blind spot. Another thing I'm gonna address are blind spots. Right now, this yellow Jeep is a blind spot to the middle lane. I can't see if there's a car coming in the middle lane, so I'm creeping up, and it looks like I'm good to go. So make sure you put in a lot of gas, but be mindful of your blind spots, because they're everywhere. If you notice, and you take notice, there's a reason why cars are mandatory to have blind spot monitors now, even though they're not really that helpful. But it's very important that you are mindful of your blind spots, because if, again, you get caught off guard and you miss a blind spot, boom, a car will come out of nowhere and you'll get hit and a collision will happen. So another blind spot right here, if there's a bigger vehicle, luckily this Challenger is, you know, more edged up to the side of the lane, so I can see, thankfully. If this person was a dumbass and was in the middle of the lane and was blocking all of those cars, it'd be a very dangerous blind spot, and I would have to pretty much either wait for this car to go or guess, hey, I don't think anyone's there. But again, that's very risky. So be mindful of your blind spots, because they're everywhere, and if you are not paying attention, you can miss it, and then you can get struck in a surprise. But basically, I'm not even going to go into so much depth in this video. I probably already went more depth than I needed to, but basically that's all you need to know how to drive. Is you're good to go. Like, you're pretty much chilling. You're good. So again, rather you already have your license, congratulations, you're ready to drive, and all you got to do is just practice in the parking lot, or you're getting ready and you're preparing to get your license. You'll ace it by studying the handbook, and you'll ace your driver's test, because you already know from this video, do not slam your brakes. That's pretty much it. And always stop at the signs. Don't ever run a stop sign. I mean, you'll fail immediately. And so basically, a big test that they do is they'll make you go up to 20, and then they'll make you stop at a full stop as fast as you can, but without jerking or without any movement. That is a test that they'll do like 3 times in a row. They'll do it 3 times in a row. So you're gonna do the whole test 3 times, and granted, you passed it every time, you'll be good to go, and you will be licensed to drive a vehicle. And I mean, that's pretty much it. Always remember, you're not a professional, and just because you know how to drive does not make you a professional. Always be mindful of the blind spots, always be safe, always be careful, always abide by the speed limit, always, well, you know, always just be mindful of your blind spots. And if there's anything else, feel free to add in the comments any tips and pointers for new drivers. I'm sure they'll appreciate it if they read it in the comments. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you drop a like if you did, and like I said, subscribe if you want to see more content. Turn on those post notifications so you don't miss out on my future uploads. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.